The stars were quiet that night. Too quiet. Far away on Mars, in an old red building covered with dust, a deep space listening station stood alone. Only one person was inside. Her name was Dr. Rana Suri, a space scientist who loved silence. But not this kind. She sat in front of the control panel. Screens blinked. Radios hummed. Space was full of noise, radiation, stars burning, comets flying. But something had changed. A new signal had arrived. It was weak, broken, cold. Dr. Rana leaned. She turned the volume up. A deep, strange voice echoed from the speakers. It was not human. The sound made her skin crawl. "We are falling." Then silence. She quickly hit record. Her fingers moved fast over the controls. "Mars station to Earth command," she said into the mic. "Unknown signal detected. Possible alien origin, please advise." No answer. She tried again, still nothing. Dr. Rana felt her heart beat faster. Earth always responded. Why were they quiet now? The message repeated, louder this time, clearer. "They are coming. We can't stop them. Help us." The words were heavy, full of fear. Not a warning, not a threat. A cry for help. Back on Earth, in a big, clean control room full of generals and politicians. The signal had already been received. They played it once, twice, a third time. Then they shut it off. "This is not our problem," said one general. "We should not get involved," said a leader. "They might bring danger with them," said another. So they locked the signal away. No news, no answer. Nothing. But Dr. Rana was not ready to forget. She downloaded the message and studied it all night. She broke the signal into pieces. It was not just sound. It had coordinates inside, deep space numbers showing where the message came from. It was far, far beyond Pluto, near a dead zone where nothing should exist. She sent the data to a small group of trusted scientists. They were shocked. "This place has no stars," one said. "It should be empty." But it wasn't. Something was moving, out there. Something big. 3 days later, the solar system changed. An unknown object entered near Neptune. It was not moving fast, but it was huge, larger than any spaceship humans had ever built. The object did not answer Earth's calls. It did not stop or change direction. It just floated toward the sun, silent like a ghost. The news leaked. People panicked. Was it a weapon? A scout ship? A lost rock? Dr. Rana was called to Earth. She stood in front of a room full of military leaders. They asked her one question. "Is this the same signal source?" She nodded. Yes, it came from this object. They didn't believe her. Then the object did something strange. It slowed down. A small Earth scout ship was sent to check. It was called Eagle 7. It flew close to the strange ship. The video showed a large black hull shaped like a tear. No lights, no windows, no sound. Then the screen turned white. Eagle 7 vanished. No pieces were found. No signal. Just gone. The alien ship did nothing. It just stayed there. Dr. Rana was afraid. She asked for permission to send a message. Earth Command allowed her, reluctantly. She stood in front of a mic. "We received your signal. If you are in danger, please respond. We want to understand." She waited. Nothing. Then the alien ship turned toward Mars. The alien ship stopped near the red planet. A small door opened. One escape pod came out. Silver, round, old. It floated gently to the surface of Mars. A robot rover picked it up. Inside were 3 creatures. Tall, thin gray-blue skin with black eyes. They were weak, sick, and afraid. One of them looked into the camera and said in broken English, "We did not come to harm. We ran from death. We called you, not to save us, but to warn you." Dr. Rana felt cold. "What is coming?" she asked. The alien fell back and whispered, "A darkness that eats stars." The alien ship floated near Mars like a dark moon. It made no noise, No light, no threat. But Earth was afraid. One scout ship had already vanished. The 3 aliens rescued from the pod were now in a clean white lab on Mars Station. They were weak, bones thin, eyes full of fear. They didn't speak much. Only one could talk in broken English. His name was Eleran. Dr. Rana sat across from him. "Tell me," she said gently. "What are you running from?" Eleran looked up. His eyes were glassy and deep, like they had seen too much. "We ran from death, from the ones that erase the sky." She leaned in. "What are they? A species? A machine?" Eleran shook his head slowly. "They are not life, not machine. They are hunger." Back on Earth, world leaders gathered again. This time they did not ignore the danger. They called us for help, said one general. "But maybe they brought the danger with them," said another. They sent 5 more scout ships, this time armed. The mission: scan the alien ship near Mars, search for life, prepare to attack if needed. But as the ships got close, all 5 vanished. No light, no explosion, no warning. Gone. Earth was terrified now. Dr. Rana stared at the screen in silence. "What did this?" she whispered. Eleran answered softly. "You call it space. We called it home. Now it is only silence." He showed a small cube. When opened, it projected stars, then one by one they went dark. Systems gone, suns dead, whole planets vanished. "This force moves between galaxies. It needs no reason, no voice, just silence." She asked, "Why call us? Why Earth?" Eleran looked at her with sad eyes. "Because you fight, you survive, you burn bright." Far away in deep space near Jupiter, something changed. Saturn's moon Titan lost power for 3 minutes. All cameras on the dark side of Saturn went black. When they turned back on, there was something new in orbit. A shape, a shadow. But when zoomed in, there was nothing there. Earth's best scientists studied it. "We see its effect," said one. "We don't see it directly. It didn't reflect light. It didn't give heat. It was just there." Something unseen was in the system. Earth gave it a name. Phantom Object 1. And it was moving, slowly, toward Mars. In a secret room on Earth's moon, military leaders activated Project Fury. It was Earth's last defense, a weapon built in silence, powered by artificial suns, hidden for years. Dr. Rana was shocked when she heard. "You built a star weapon?" A general nodded. "If this enemy eats suns, we'll show it one that bites back." Meanwhile, the alien ship near Mars powered down. Its lights faded, its engines stopped. It went cold. Eleran collapsed. Dr. Rana rushed to him. "What's happening?" he gasped. "It is near. We feel it. In our blood." The alien ship suddenly opened again. A new signal was sent, but not to Earth. It went outward, into deep space. A long, sharp message. Earth caught it. Dr. Rana translated it. "Last hope failed. Earth will fall too. Goodbye." She stood frozen. "Are you giving up?" she asked. Eleran, barely breathing, said, "We already died. You may still live." Then he passed out. Earth was now on full alert. Satellites picked up changes near Phantom Object 1. Light from the sun around it was dimming. Just a little, but enough to cause panic. "No object can dim sunlight," a scientist whispered, "not unless it's consuming it." It was not a ship. It was not a fleet. It was something else. A thing made of gravity or shadow, or something humans didn't even have words for. Something that did not want peace. Dr. Rana stood outside the Mars dome, staring into the sky. The stars were still there, but one was missing, and she felt it in her bones. The silence was not natural. Something had arrived, something unseen, and it had already begun. The stars were not blinking anymore. Dr. Rana sat alone in the observation dome on Mars. Her hands were shaking. One of the stars, bright and steady just yesterday, was gone. Not behind a planet. Not blocked by dust. Gone. She checked the system again. That star had been shining for 5 billion years. And now, nothing. The computer showed one message. Error. No light detected. Back in the lab, the alien survivor Ilaran was hooked to machines. He was weak, barely alive. Dr. Rana stood by his side. She showed him the dead star on the screen. Is this the enemy? He opened his eyes slowly. Yes, they have reached your edge. She swallowed hard. We still have time, right? Ilaran shook his head. Time is not what you think. They move by hunger, not speed. He coughed, his voice dry. They do not chase planets. They drink suns. Earth scientists were in panic. In 1 week, 3 more distant stars had gone out. Telescopes showed something terrifying. Giant voids where light used to be. As if space itself was being erased, a special team gathered in Earth's orbital command center. We must act now, said General Harlan. No more waiting. They planned to send a ship, manned by both humans and the last remaining alien, crew, to the dead sun system. Mission name, Operation Starfall. Dr. Rana volunteered to go. The ship was called ISS Valiant. It was fast, strong, full of sensors, scanners, and shields, but everyone aboard knew it might not return. On the day of launch, Ilaran stood beside Dr. Rana. He was weak but ready. This is not just your fight anymore, he said. If Earth burns, so does the last of my people. 4 days later, they reached the dead system. It was cold, silent, empty. Where a sun once blazed, now floated a dark hole, soft at the edges, like torn paper in the sky. Dr. Rana stared in silence. This was a star, she whispered. Their scanners picked up no debris, no planets, not even rocks, just black nothingness. Ilaran pointed at the center. This is how it begins. First the light, then the pull, then the scream. Dr. Rana asked, What scream? He closed his eyes. You'll know when it comes. Suddenly, the ship shook. Radiation spike, shouted the pilot. Incoming wave. A strange force hit the ship, but it was not heat or light. It was, like gravity, changing direction. It pulled their thoughts, not their bodies. Dr. Rana felt dizzy. In her mind, she saw memories, her childhood, her mother's voice, a planet burning. No, she said. It's not real. Ilaran fell to the floor. It wants to eat your mind. Remember that. Fight it. The wave passed. Later, they found something floating near. The dark hole, a small satellite, broken but still holding data. It was not human. Dr. Rana opened the log. Alien voices played. We tried. We failed. The light screamed, then vanished. If you find this, turn away. You cannot stop the eater of stars. Everyone on the ship was silent. The crew realized they were not the first to try. They launched a probe toward the center of the dead sun. As it got closer, the video went static, then black. But before it vanished, one frame showed something terrifying. A shape. Not a ship, not a machine, just a twisting form, like a shadow made of smoke and teeth. It had no eyes, no mouth, yet it watched. Back on Earth, the Project Fury weapon was nearly ready. The generals wanted to fire it toward the dead sun system, to test if it could hurt the enemy. Dr. Rana sent a message back. Do not shoot blindly. You may make it angry. But the generals were afraid. They did not listen. The weapon fired a powerful beam of energy, crossed space in minutes. It hit the dead sun. And for a moment, light returned. Hope. Then, darkness again, and the stars around it began to vanish one by one like falling dominoes. Dr. Rana whispered, We woke it up. Back on the ISS Valiant, all systems went red. A new object appeared on the radar. It was not from Earth. not from the alien ship. It was something new, large, silent, moving fast, straight toward the Valiant. Ellerin looked at the screen and said only one word: run. The shadow came fast. The ISS Valiant ran at full speed, but the thing behind them was faster. It moved without fire or engine. No heat, no light, just pure black. Dr. Rana gripped the edge of her seat. "It's not chasing us," she said. "It's pulling us." The crew's eyes widened as gravity inside the ship shifted. Their bodies felt heavy. Time moved slow. Lights flickered. The pilot shouted, "We're falling into it." Then, just before all systems shut down, the alien Elleran stood up. "No," he said quietly. "Not yet." Elleran opened a hidden compartment in his suit. Inside was a small silver sphere glowing softly. "What is that?" Dr. Rana asked. He looked at her with tired eyes. "Our last weapon, our last sin." He threw the sphere into the control core of the ship. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Then a blinding wave of blue light pushed outward like a silent explosion. The ship was suddenly free. The pull was gone. The dark shape behind them paused, then began to fade into the shadows again. Back on Earth, panic grew. Telescopes showed 4 stars missing now. The darkness was spreading faster. Project Fury had failed. The most powerful weapon Earth had couldn't stop it. Worse, it might have made things worse. World leaders called it the Dark Bloom, a spreading zone of nothing where light, time, and life vanished. The people of Earth demanded action, but there was no plan left. Until a voice came over the speakers. It was Dr. Rana, sending a live message from deep space. "The thing we fight is not a creature. It's not a fleet. It is like a disease, a hunger. But it can be slowed, maybe even stopped. I have proof." Earth listened closely. Dr. Rana explained how Ellerin's weapon pushed the enemy back, not by force, but by resonance. "It's not about power," she said. "It's about memory, frequency, vibration. This thing feeds on silence, but living worlds like Earth make noise, music, thought, emotion, life. These things confused the enemy. Scientists worked day and night. They found a pattern, a wave hidden inside the alien message from Part 1. It was like a song, but not music, more like a heartbeat, a warning, or maybe a key. They called it the deathworld pulse. It was based on Earth's own chaos: earthquakes, storms, volcanoes, war, and love. All the things that made Earth dangerous and alive. Now they had a plan. Send a new weapon, not to destroy, but to remind the darkness what life feels like. Project name: Thunderborn. While the Thunderborn weapon was being built, Dr. Rana and Ellerin made contact with a secret network. Aliens, scattered, hidden, almost extinct, but still alive. One group called themselves the Ash Breathers, another the Star Widows. They had all lost their sons to the darkness. They didn't trust humans. But then they saw Earth's pulse, heard its wild song, felt its fire. They finally said, "You are deathworlders, the ones who fight everything. Maybe you are the last light left." The Thunderborn weapon was launched from Earth's moon. It was not a laser, not a bomb. It was a giant speaker, a machine made to scream life into the void. As it reached the edge of the dead sun system, it activated. The sound it made could not be heard by ears, but stars shook, dust clouds twisted. The enemy paused. Back on the ISS Valiant, Ellerin smiled for the first time. It remembers. It is confused. It has not felt resistance in a long, long time. Dr. Rana looked at the monitors. The dark zone had stopped growing. Maybe not forever, but for now. Earth had done what no other world could. It had made the Eater of Stars hesitate. In Earth orbit, news spread fast. People cried, danced, cheered. Some prayed. For once, they were not just running, not just hiding, they were fighting back. But hope came with a warning. Ilaran stood before Earth's leaders via live transmission. You slowed it. That is good. But it is not over. He showed a new map. Behind the first wave were more, other zones, other starless paths, moving in from different parts of the galaxy. You are not the only ones who stood, and you may not be the last. Dr. Rana nodded. Then we'll find the others. The Deathworlders would not wait. They would rise. The universe had never been so quiet. Stars still burned, but many were already gone. Dead systems, lost worlds, places where light had no memory. But Earth still lived. The Thunderborn pulse had worked. The Eater of Stars had stopped just for a moment. A pause like a deep breath before a storm. On the ISS Valiant, Dr. Rana sat beside Ilaran, watching the new map of danger. The shadow had not vanished, it had only split. Now there were 3 paths of darkness, each moving toward different corners of the galaxy, and one of them was coming back. On Earth, leaders debated their next move. Do we wait? Asked one. No, said General Harlan. We strike. We take the fight to the stars. But with what? Dr. Rana answered from orbit. We don't need bigger weapons. We need allies. A bold plan was made. Earth would send exploration teams to lost systems, places once full of life, now silent. Their mission: search for survivors. Recover lost technology. Leave behind the Deathworld pulse to wake sleeping planets and confuse the darkness. Each ship was called a spark vessel, because even in the void, a small spark could light a path. Dr. Rana led the first spark vessel. Hopebringer 1, her crew included humans and volunteers from Ilaran's people, now called the Lastborn. Their target, a system once home to a powerful race, the Jari Empire. The Jari were silent now. Their suns had gone dark 100 years ago, but, maybe, something remained. The Hopebringer arrived at the edge of the dead Jari system. Everything was cold, planets without light, satellites frozen in orbit. But on the third planet, deep beneath the ice, they found a signal, weak, broken, but alive. Doctor, Rana leaned in. This is Jari Station Black. If you hear us, please don't leave. They landed and entered the base. Inside, they found a surprise. Children, Jari younglings, sleeping in pods. Only a few dozen, watched over by one old guardian who had not spoken in years. His name was Korin, and he spoke in soft whispers. We stayed quiet so the Eater would not hear us. Dr. Rana answered, You're safe now. Earth has made it pause. He opened one eye slowly. Earth? The cursed blue planet? The one that bit its own moon to stop a war? She smiled. That's us, Korin nodded. Then maybe the stars have a chance. The Hopebringer placed a Deathworld pulse beacon on the planet and left supplies for the Jari. Korin said, If you fight, we will help. In the weeks that followed, other spark vessels found more survivors. A hidden moon colony, where birds, made of crystal, still sang. A machine world that had forgotten what life was until it heard Earth's pulse. A wandering fleet of ships that had drifted for generations waiting for a sign. Each one added their voice to the growing pulse network, a web of sound and memory across space. But the darkness was changing. It had learned. It no longer moved in silence. It sent something new. A ship appeared near Neptune. Black, silent, not human, not alien. Its shape kept changing as if it couldn't decide what it wanted to be. Earth sent messages. No answer. So they sent drones. None returned. Then the ship spoke, not in sound, but in every language at once. We are the memory of lost suns. We do not hate. We only return things to silence. Aboard the ISS Valiant, alarms rang. Dr. Rana looked at the message. Ilaran stared at it for a long time. Then he said, It has evolved. It now wears faces to break our minds. Earth had woken something old, and now It wanted to talk. The message from the shadow ship ended with a warning. Your fire spreads, your noise hurts, we will come, not to speak, not to listen, but to finish. Earth did not panic this time. They remembered who they were. They were the world that screamed, the world that survived, the world that burned hot enough to scare even the dark, the deathworlders. And now, they were not alone. On the Valiant's screen, the pulse network glowed like a net of stars, each one beating, each one remembering. And in the center, Earth pulsed louder than them all. Dr. Rana whispered, "We are the last spark in the void, but we will not go out quietly." The sky over Earth turned red, not from war, but from warning. The pulse network had picked up a change. A massive energy field was building near the edge of the solar system. The enemy was coming, but this time Earth was not afraid. They were ready. They had built something new. Not a weapon, but a symphony. In a secret base under Antarctica, engineers and alien scientists worked side by side. Their creation was called the Voice of Earth. It was the size of a small city, a tower of metal, light, and sound, not to destroy, but to sing. Earth had learned one truth. The darkness hated life's noise, its music, its chaos, its wild memories. So Earth decided to turn the volume all the way up. Dr. Rana stood at the base of the tower, looking at the sky. Beside her was Alarin, stronger now, wearing a new suit powered by Earth's tech. She looked at him. "Will it work?" Alarin nodded slowly. "It must. Because the Eater is not sending ships anymore." He pointed to the sky. "It is sending itself." At the edge of Neptune, a storm of shadows began to rise. Not one shape, but many. Pieces of stars, broken planets, melted moons, all pulled together into a massive living form. A god made of ruin. It moved without flame, without sound, but the pulse network screamed in pain. One by one, planets nearby went silent again. The United Earth Defense Fleet prepared for war. Ships armed with pulse cannons, fighters carrying harmonic disruptors. They had no illusions. This wasn't just a battle. This was a final song. The enemy reached Saturn. Earth watched from every screen. It did not fire. It only floated and listened, as if waiting. Dr. Rana stood in the Voice of Earth's control room. "Start the countdown." The tower powered up. Lights flashed. Across the world, speakers activated. On the Moon, Mars, and inside every spark vessel across the stars, the song began. It was not one song. It was all songs. A child laughing, a volcano exploding, a mother crying, an orchestra playing Beethoven next to a heavy metal band, a lion's roar mixed with the whisper of waves. It was life in all its madness. The shadow twitched, then twisted, then screamed, not in pain, in confusion. For the first time, it answered. "Why do you scream so loud? What do you hope to save?" Dr. Rana didn't blink. She spoke into the tower mic. "Everything." The Voice of Earth got louder. Alien allies joined in. The ash breathers sent signals from their ice moons. The Jari children played their ancient drums. Even the machine world added digital tones that made the stars ripple. And then something new happened. The enemy began to break apart. The pulse network showed it. Pieces of the shadow peeled away like fog and sunlight. Not destroyed, not gone, just pushed back. On the ISS Valiant, the crew cried and clapped. "It's working," someone shouted. But Ellerin frowned. "No," he said. "Look closer." They zoomed in and saw something terrifying. The enemy had stopped shrinking and started changing. A new form emerged from the center. Smaller, faster, sharper. It wasn't confused anymore. It had adapted, and it was now singing back. The Voice of Earth. Tower shook violently. Screams filled the air, not human, not alien. It was the enemy's answer, its own song. But instead of life, it sang of stillness. of endings, of stars that had forgotten their names. Eleran fell to his knees. It's trying to erase us in sound. Our music is not enough. Dr. Rana stared at the waveforms on the screen. They were slowly being flattened, turned into one long, empty line, like a heartbeat going still. Then a new signal broke through. A voice, weak but clear. "This is Jari Station Black. We have upgraded our beacon. Joining now." Then another. "This is the Crystal Moon Choir, transmitting emotion through the ion layers." Then dozens more. Hundreds. The pulse network roared back to life. Planets once silent had now found their voice. And together, they shouted. A final code came in from deep space, one no one had seen before. "This is Earth Archive 001 playing, final human record." A voice spoke softly, an old recording from a human named Carl Sagan. "We are here. We are a way for the universe to know itself." Then music played, a child's heartbeat, then a billion more. The enemy's song cracked, it shook, it buckled, then it ran, not destroyed, but no longer brave enough to face Earth's fury. Dr. Rana sat down, exhausted. Eleran smiled. "You didn't fight with weapons. You fought with memory." She looked at the sky. "We fought with everything we are." The shadow had left. It didn't vanish. It didn't die. It just disappeared, slipping away like smoke in the wind. But it left something behind. Silence. After the voice of Earth stopped singing, the galaxy held its breath. No more attacks. No more missing stars, just quiet, too quiet. Dr. Rana walked through the ruins of Earth's voice tower, burned panels, cracked steel, melted circuits. She touched the main console. It was warm, still humming. Eleran stood beside her, looking up at the sky. "We sang louder than the void," he said. "But did we win?" She didn't answer. No one really knew. Across the solar system, the pulse network was still active. Beacons flashed across dozens of stars. The message was the same. "We are still here." But strange signals had started to appear, soft, broken, like echoes from far away. The scientists called them ghost pulses, short bursts of sound, like someone trying to reply but too far, too weak. Or maybe not alive at all. On board the ISS Valiant, the crew studied these ghost signals. One of them stood out. It came from a star system that had been lost for over 200 years. Zeta 9, a place where an entire alien race called the Qatari had once lived. They had vanished before the Eater of Stars ever arrived. No signs of war, no bodies, no messages, just silence. But now, there was a whisper. "Please, return." Dr. Rana was called in. She studied the signal. "This is not a distress call," she said. "This is a memory." Eleran stepped closer. "It could be a trap," she nodded. "Or it could be someone left behind." Earth sent a small team to investigate. 1 spark vessel, 5 crew members, and a gift. A smaller version of the Deathworld Pulse. Not a weapon. A light in the dark. They named the mission Echo 1. When Echo 1 entered the Zeta 9 system, they found no light. The star still burned, but the planets didn't reflect it, as if they didn't want to be seen. The third planet showed signs of structures, cities turned to dust, towers half buried. And yet, in the deepest crater, the signal grew stronger. The crew landed. The air was thin, cold, still, but they heard it. A voice, not through the radio, in their minds. "You are not Qatari, but you carry fire." The crew stood in silence. Then one of them whispered, "Who are you?" The voice replied, "We are the Qatari, or what's left." They weren't alive, not in body. They had become something else. a living memory, stored in machines, bound to the planet, echoing forever. They had faced the Eater of Stars, long before Earth. They had tried to fight, but they chose a different path. Instead of singing louder, they erased themselves. They thought silence would protect them. It didn't. We faded, but you roared. Dr. Rana watched the data from Earth. The Qatari memory core was full of information, maps of shadow movements, old enemy patterns, and something new. A set of star coordinates marked as safe zones, systems the darkness had never entered, not once. Earth sent scouts. What they found was shocking. In these safe zones were planets full of strange energy, places where music never stopped, even in death, flowers that sang, winds that whispered dreams, rivers that pulsed like drums, life that was too wild to be silenced. The enemy had avoided these places, maybe out of fear, maybe out of respect. Dr. Rana had a theory. Maybe the darkness is not evil. Maybe it's a natural force. Like a reset button, she looked at the pulse map. And maybe places like Earth, places that refuse to be quiet, are the cure. Ellerin agreed. Then we must find more like us. The new mission began. Earth, the Lastborn, the Jari, the machine world. All of them joined in a massive search to find every spark left in the galaxy, to bring back the wild, loud, broken beauty of life, and to remind the darkness. We are not afraid of the silence. We just choose to live louder. But deep in the galaxy, far beyond any beacon or ship, something was watching. The shadow had not ended, it had only retreated. Now, it listened, and in the quiet, it began to change again. 1,000 stars glowed in silence, each one touched by Earth's pulse network, each one carrying the memory of life. The galaxy was still wounded, still scared, but it was no longer alone. Earth had screamed into the void, and others had answered. In a command hall on Lunar Base Atlas, Dr. Rana stood before the galaxy map. New lights blinked every second, signals from planets once thought dead, aliens awakening, machines remembering, worlds singing once more. Beside her stood Ellerin, the last-born warrior who had seen the end and still chose to fight. This map, he said, was once a record of loss. Now it's a record of light. But far beyond the map's edge, something stirred. The shadow was not gone. It had changed. Now it moved slowly, quietly, like a hunter that had been hurt, and learned caution. It no longer attacked randomly. It watched. And then one day it spoke again. The message came not as a warning, but as a challenge. You lit fires in the dark, we will come again, and next time we will not turn away. No one knew when, no one knew how, but Earth had seen enough to understand. The next attack would be the final one, and so Earth prepared, not with vigor, guns not with fear, but with one plan. Turn the galaxy into a voice too loud to silence. The pulse network was rebuilt, stronger, wider. New towers were placed on asteroids, comets, moons, drifting stations. Every race that survived sent sound. Songs, memories, laughter, even pain. It all became part of the great signal, a living, breathing memory of everything the darkness tried to erase. Ilarin led the last-born fleets. The Jari children, now grown, built pulse ships, vessels that ran on music, not fuel. Even the machine world had changed. They called themselves the Echoed Ones and gave emotion to logic so they too could sing. Together they formed the Beacon Alliance, and in the heart of it all stood Earth, the wild, loud, strange world that started it. When the darkness returned, it did not come as a storm. It came as a mirror, a giant silent structure that hovered above the galactic center. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. It simply reflected every signal sent to it, repeating each one back, but colder, emptier, like a ghost of the real thing. Some called it the Great Silence Engine. a machine built to unmake sound. Earth made one final choice. They would not send soldiers. They would send voices. Dr. Rana stood before the great signal tower, the biggest one, yet placed inside a hollowed asteroid powered by a star core. She looked at the camera. All of Earth watched. All of the galaxy watched. She spoke softly. "We do not want war. We are not perfect, but we choose life, and we choose to remember." Then she reached forward and pressed the final button. The final pulse began. It wasn't just sound. It was everything. A child's first steps, the cry of a dying warrior, the heartbeat of oceans, the whisper of leaves, the chaos of cities, the peace of the stars. Billions of voices joined together in one impossible wave of life. The great silence engine cracked. Its mirror surface shattered into shards of frozen light from inside. The shadow screamed, not in rage, not in pain, but in fear. For the first time, it could not unmake what was given. The galaxy had chosen to live. The pulse spread beyond known space. It touched the edge of the universe. And somewhere out there, something else heard it, something old, something powerful, and something curious. The pulse faded, but it did not end. It kept repeating, now part of the stars themselves. The shadow didn't return. It drifted, quiet, still out there, but no longer bold. In time, peace returned. New alliances were formed. New worlds were seeded. New songs were born. And Earth? It became a symbol, not of war, not of fear, but of defiance, of memory, of fire. A message was carved into the base of the great signal tower. They cried for help, and Earth roared back. We screamed so loud, we lit up the heavens. As the stars turned slowly overhead, a child looked up from Earth's surface and asked her father, "Will the darkness ever come back?" The father smiled. "Maybe, but if it does, we'll be ready to sing again."